With a small red arrow on the cards from Game Week 22, I think it's time to shuffle the pack. Of course, we've got free transfers heading into Game Week 23, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at my transfer targets and, of course, my plan ahead of double Game Week 24. Now, before we dive into today's video, of course, if you do enjoy any of the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as we are trying to hit 12,500 subscribers by the end of the season, and it is only possible with your guys' amazing support. Let's, of course, look through my team in Game Week 22. I'm filming this before the Chelsea game. We know that Cole Palmer is now in the squad, same with Nicholas Jackson as well. So if we get a Palmer blank and maybe a Jackson return, we potentially could even finish the week on a green arrow. Like I said, want a very, very small green arrow, down from 59k to 62k right now, which I don't think is too bad considering we've not really had the best of game weeks, and Saturday we were all the way down at 85k, so we still could end up there if obviously Palmer absolutely goes off and goes nuclear. However, we got a few points out of a few players. Chris Wood, of course, but his effective ownership was ridiculously high. The Forest clean sheet actually did more good for us than bad, to be honest, when it got wiped out. Obviously, other defenders losing points and stuff like that. Hall with an assist as well, but a pretty dreadful performance, so maybe that's one to monitor over the next few weeks. Munoz and Palace have looked really, really good defensively over the past few weeks as well, so they're very, very decent, and very happy that I've brought him in. Bruno Fernandes picking up a pretty gammy penalty. It was a clear penalty, but still pretty gammy points. But again, that is why you take penalty takers in this game. They can completely just pick up points out of nothing. And of course, with Bruno Fernandes being an influential player within the team, he managed to sneak one bonus point as well. Let's have a look then at how this team then is going to be lining up for game week 23 if I was to make 0 transfers. And just looking at it, right, realistically, we could roll again and take 4 into, of course, the double game week in 24 and have a real go at it. But I do feel like there are a few players that are, of course, going to be problem players, and there's a few that I really want to take advantage of. Of course, Nicholas Jackson, I am filming this before the Chelsea game, but he is a little bit of a problem. Not really delivering the goods. Obviously, City away, not an ideal fixture for our striker as well. Bruno Fernandes and Manchester United are just not good. They're not good. Bruno and Ahmed are their two best players, but I feel like I'm probably going to get more value out of Ahmed, and downgrading Bruno to Ahmed as well will, of course, allow me to bring in some other players as well that we're going to look at. But like I said, we could very easily roll this team if we wanted. I just thought I'd highlight how good it's looking before we even go and make any transfers. So let's dive in then. Let's take a look at some of my transfer targets ahead of this game week. Obviously, I highlighted a few of the players there. I obviously want to downgrade Bruno Fernandes, and one of those downgrades could be to Ahmed, or it could be to Justin Kluivert. Now, I don't realistically, as you saw, the team's quite strong. We don't realistically need to play either of these players in this game week. So it could be the incentive to, of course, go for Justin Kluivert. Obviously, Bournemouth at the moment as well have got a lot of injuries, which mean he is pretty nailed. On penalties as well at 5.6 million. And you know my kind of a stance and opinion on penalty takers within this game. It's an absolute cheat code. So that one could be a real revelation if we were to go for that one. Bournemouth as well have some absolutely incredible fixtures, as you can see, slightly creeping into onto the ticker down the bottom there. Southampton away in 25 is a really good one. But of course, Ahmed, he's looked really good. The problem is he just plays for Manchester United, who are a pretty dreadful team. However, they do again also have some decent fixtures all the way up until game week 30, and that's realistically when I'm planning on wildcarding. So this is the period I need both of these players. And as you can see, when we obviously go to the rotation part at the end, when we run through my team, both of these players do slot into the side exceptionally well, and I feel whichever way I went on this one could be really beneficial for me and my side. I'm more drawn towards Ahmed just because of his effective ownership. He's actually been a little bit of a killer over the past few weeks in terms of that. So I think that could be the safer option. However, the gamble could be for somebody like Justin Kluivert. Go for that differential with penalties, with, of course, Bournemouth being a pretty decent side as well. So yeah, they're my two potential Bruno Fernandes replacements. Moving on then. Of course, we need a striker replacement for Nicholas Jackson as well. And obviously, that allows me to do another move we'll see in a second. But these are my two options right now. It's Wissa or Calvert-Lewin. Also, Gakpo's in there, but I'd probably say he's probably lesser. So it is going to be for me between Wissa and it is going to be Calvert-Lewin. I've owned Wissa earlier this season. He's marvellous. As you can see, the data that he's been putting up is absolutely stupendous during some difficult fixtures as well. Good fixtures on the horizon as well, with some pretty weak defences coming up. Of course, Tottenham, absolutely atrocious at the moment. Same with West Ham as well. Defensively, all over the shop. Some of the worst sides for XG conceded. Palace over the past 5 game weeks have improved within that metric as well, so maybe not the ideal fixture, and obviously Brentford's poor away form this season as well might not be the ideal fixture, of course, to go and bring Johan Wissa in. However, I've watched, I think, pretty much quite a few Brentford games this season. I'd probably say about 70% of Brentford games from owning Wissa and Mbeumo this season. Both of them are fantastic players. They're always involved, always creating good opportunities for the side. And Brentford's way of playing as well this season is full throttle, all-out attack for large parts of the game. And I think that's what you want with your FPL assets. Getting plenty of shots, playing for decent attacking sides. So for me, could be a real decent pickup. And obviously, we've got a bit of history as well. The other option, of course, is going to be Dominic Calvert-Lewin at 5.4 million. Could be a little bit of a gem with the double game week coming up. I think the fixtures kind of either side aren't awful. However, my big concern is the fact that Everton are currently sat 19th for expected goals created. Of course, I think this was his first goal in maybe like 17 games. It was like a big drought that Calvert-Lewin was on as well. It was a huge drought. I saw that on Twitter earlier. But actually really sharp and good in the Tottenham game. So maybe David Moyes is going to potentially get the best out of him. Of course, the big appeal with going with Calvert-Lewin is going to be that double game week. Leicester are abysmal. Again, another team that are really struggling down the bottom end of the table. I think it's now 6 without a win. Of course, their XG conceded numbers as well are pitiful. Liverpool, I feel like, is just like an added bonus. And if we can get something out of him, fair enough. Again, the big appeal for him over Wissa is, of course, going to be the penalty appeal and the double game week. So a little bit kind of leaning me towards Dominic Calvert-Lewin. However, right at this moment, I think the sensible option is going to be Johan Wissa. Like I said, I've been burnt by Dominic Calvert-Lewin already this season. He's not a great natural finisher, and I do feel like Wissa is having the better season out of the two and could be the striker that, for me, feels like the correct replacement. Of course, let's look at my final section of potential players I'm going to be bringing in, and it is going to be a Liverpool player. Now, there have been some updates since I filmed my transfer targets video where I spoke through these. Konate has been on painkillers dealing with this knee issue, so that probably rules him out as a potential move in. Also, all the forwards have probably had a big boost with Diego Jota looking like he could be out for a few weeks as well. So that, I think, bodes well for Diaz, Gakpo and Darwin. Definitely boosts their stonks up in terms of potentially coming into the side. I feel if I was to pick any of the attackers right now, I probably would lean for Gakpo. He, of course, is going to be on that left-hand side. He's going to be the one that probably will start both of the games. And obviously, I would like another Liverpool attacker in there. Their expected goal numbers from the 11-5 numbers are looking really good for the next 5 game weeks as well. So, you know, Ipswich, Wolves, again, very poor teams for XG conceded. Factor in the double game week as well. It could be a cook session for some of these Liverpool attackers. However, the man that I have got my eye on is, of course, going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. His numbers are fantastic. You're getting into one of the best defences this season for XG conceded. The projected goal numbers as well are looking really good, like I said, and those projected clean sheets on the 11-5 model as well. So you're getting a combination of things here that could really manifest itself as well. You know, buying into a good defence, good fixtures coming up for that, good fixtures coming up from an attacking standpoint. And I watched Trent in the Brentford game and I just went, I think I need to get this man in my side. He was just popping up on the edge of the box. Like I said, that Ipswich game could be a feast. Then going into a double game week, and then I don't really mind holding him all the way up until I wildcard in 30. Whereas with Diaz, Gakpo and Darwin, I feel like they probably would require a transfer out if they obviously start to see minutes drops or stuff like that. The only problem with the Liverpool players, of course, is going to be heavy rotation with them in the Champions League, Carabao Cup, and of course the FA Cup as well, with also this double game week coming up. So a hell of a lot of fixtures coming up for the Reds, but I still believe Trent is probably going to be my player that I am going to go for. So let's see how all these players that I've just spoke about are going to fit into my plans, and of course my plans for double game week 24 and my chip strategy. Okay, so now I've added all the players that I potentially am looking at bringing in this week. As you can see, Ahmed is in there, Vissa's in there, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Unfortunately, it does mean our bench looks very, very strong. Could be a potential bench boost week, who you never know, but I think I've gone with what I believe to potentially be the strongest side that I could go and put out right now. I think it's a 50-50 split between Ahmed and Vissa. It probably is more down to Brentford's poor away record that I am going to play Ahmed as well. I think it's 19 out of the goals that Manchester United have scored since October have either been assisted or scored by Bruno Fernandes. So it shows how imperative both of these players are to that side as well. So I think, you know, playing them could be really, really beneficial. But like I said, the team is looking ridiculously strong. Would, of course, mean, though, that we do use all three of our transfers. But let's head on then into double game week 24. And my transfer plans would look a little bit something like this. We would go and pick Pickford up in goal. Just like that. Boom. And we probably would look to play the assistant manager chip. I think we could either play, again, Ahmed or Vissa. Again, that home record, Spurs being very poor at the back. But, you know, we're looking pretty good across the board there. Of course, if we play the assistant manager chip as well, I would feel very, very confident in this side going and delivering some decent points totals for that one. Obviously, it means we'd be triple Liverpool, just the singular Everton, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe we make another transfer. Potentially could do Konza for Mikalenko, and then maybe, you know, take that -4 and drop him in, drop Aina out. But we'll wait and see on that one. But like I said, play the assistant manager chip for that week. Oh, move on to the wrong tab there. Then, of course, game week 25, as you can see here, the team is looking pretty strong. Of course, we just drop in Vissa for Hall. Konza for Hall. Then we probably put Vissa in ahead of Ahmed, just something like that. Then, obviously, we've still got Munoz as a potential option here as well. Team, again, still looking ridiculously good. Going into 26 as well. I don't think there's probably any problems here. As you can see, Leicester, maybe one of those two get dropped for Ahmed. Or, of course, we could drop Rodgers. Like I said, it just feels like these transfers just work exceptionally well. Of course, I could go back, though. And like I said, it probably is going to be a 50-50 call with Ahmed or Kluivert. And I just want to show you that both of these work as potential options. So for this one, I probably would have it so it's that way round. Then moving into game week 24, we'd bench Kluivert, of course, and play with something like that. Moving into 25, again, Kluivert probably comes in. Oh, it's a toughie. This is probably where it would fall down, to be honest, because I don't think, like, it's super difficult to bench any of these players to get Kluivert in. So I think from just doing this and just having a little bit of a playthrough, the more sensible option is actually to just go and pick up Ahmed in here as well and play him instead. So I think that right there, just having a little flick through, is probably going to be the best way to do it. Like I said, we've just found the team and how it's going to be looking for that game week. I think that's something as well that I think a lot of managers should do. Head on over to FPL.team, have a little bit of a play around when you're thinking about playing with transfers, seeing how your team is going to look in the next few weeks, seeing the areas and seeing the problem players that are going to be coming up. I think it's just super imperative. Like I said, though, make sure to delay your transfers this week. Of course, there's European football Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so make sure you're delaying it. And yeah, there we go. That's it. Hopefully a Palmer blank tonight and a Jackson Hall, but this video will be going out afterwards. Of course, if you do enjoy any of the content that you see on the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you very, very soon.